Hello, artists. Okay, so today we're going to take a look at one-point perspective. Make sure that you set up your sketchbook so that it is landscape format, meaning that it is wider than it is tall. You don't want to do this activity with your page set up like this because we need the width for this lesson. Okay, so you're going to need a ruler, a fairly long one preferably, like if it's the size of the page, that would be super helpful, and a nice pencil and maybe an eraser. All right, so first things first, sort of in the middle of the page, straight across, not on an angle, but parallel to the bottom edge of your page, you want to lightly draw in your horizon line. So this is where is sort of considered eye level. When you're looking at different objects and you're drawing them in perspective, your horizon line can tell you if it's at eye level or if it's above or below, whether you're looking up or down. Okay, next we're going to take and draw just sort of somewhere in the middle on the line, make it fairly large for you. This is our VP, or vanishing point. Okay, and we're doing 1-point perspective, so that's why there's just one vanishing point. Okay, so we're going to be creating a cube or a box, and we're looking to do this starting off with this particular version. We're doing an interior view. So what I'm going to do now is taking my ruler, I'm going to put it on my horizon line and slide it down a little bit and just start to create a box or a rectangle around my vanishing point. Okay, now you want to always make sure that your lines are going to be parallel to your horizon line or parallel to the edge of your page so that they are straight up and down. You don't want them to be off on angles. Okay, think 90-degree angle here. And it doesn't matter if it's a square or a rectangle when you're sketching this out, and you can just use the edge of the page and slide it over to make sure you get it nice vertical. Great. And join up the top. Okay, and I'll just take off that little extra bit there. Okay, so now I've got a square. Great. I'm just going to firm up this line here. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start to create the three-dimensional portions of our square to make it into a cube. So, watching carefully, what I'm trying to do here is line up my ruler to my vanishing point and my bottom left corner. So you want to make sure that you're looking, and especially if you were working larger, you're really carefully lining it up perfectly, both ends, on the vanishing point on the corner before you start drawing your line. And what we're going to draw here is just a very light dashed line. Very light, because we're just starting to get our forms in here, and so we don't want to do anything too dark or permanent yet. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing over on the bottom right hand side. So again, lining up my ruler to my vanishing point and to the corner, and double check and triple check and then start to draw my little dashed line. Now I'm making mine a little darker just so it appears more visible on the video. Okay, so at this point you can kind of see now what's happening. That vanishing point is where the sides are kind of going towards, and it's starting to create that depth. Think of an example of when you're sort of maybe looking at a photograph that's taken down a roadway or railroad tracks. It's like things are disappearing into the distance, right? So we have our sides of our boxes here, or if you want to know the technical term, orthogonals, and they're disappearing towards our vanishing point. Let's go ahead and put the top ones in. So again, line up to your vanishing point and the corner, and double check and make sure your ruler hasn't gotten all wiggly. Double check, triple check, and just put in nice light dashed line. And, oh, there we go, we need the exposure, there we go. And do the same thing on the top left. Line up the ruler on the vanishing point and in the corner. You don't want to make your vanishing point too large. If you make it too big, it can actually throw off your drawing because you're lining it up to different parts. And if the dot's too big, then your lines will start to get a little bit off. And the more you draw and the bigger your drawing is, the more off it becomes, right? So now we have our dash lines. What we're going to do is draw in the back of our cube now to make it look three-dimensional. So I'm going to start with my ruler on my bottom of my square or my rectangle, and I'm going to slide it. Keep it nice and parallel. Don't let it get off at an angle. Don't let it get off at an angle like this. Keep it parallel to that front. And I'm going to use the ruler to draw a line between those two dashed lines. Just like that. Ooh, fancy. I know. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Now we're going to line our ruler up with our right-hand side of our box and slide it in, keeping it parallel until it lines up with the side that we just drew. And then solid line between those two dash lines. Okay, good. And lay the ruler on the top, make sure it's parallel, and roll it down, keeping it nice and straight. Don't let it get off on an angle. Draw a line to join between those two dash lines. Oh, come on, focus. There we go. And same thing on the left-hand side. Line my ruler up. Gently slide it over to keep it parallel until it matches my most recent line and my first line. There we go. All right. So now we have a box in a box, right? So we have to join them to make a cube, and still using our ruler, always, very carefully, we're going to go in, and starting in the bottom left, I'm going to solidify this dash line in between the two squares that I have, and no further. So just like that. Okay, do the same thing on the bottom right. Come in and solidify that line, the dash line, in between the outer square and the inner square. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing in the top right corner. Solidify the line. Ooh. And solidify the line. There we go. All right. So now we can bring up this bad boy and erase those dashes now that we don't need in the middle. And it's nice because they're just dash lines. They erase a little bit easier. And like I say, the more complex your drawing is, the cleaner you're going to want to be able to make the drawing by very lightly drawing your lines at first, so then if you need to erase, they can disappear. So now you can see we're looking into our cube, And this kind of 1-point perspective you might see when you're drawing the inside of a room or a house, or maybe, like I say, a box or a cube or a bookshelf or a nice window ledge, something like that. Right? Okay, there's our 1-point perspective with an interior view. Thanks for watching.